Daniel Solana, double Danning it, joins the show. Of course, we're going to be talking here in Miami, and you had a life-changing event earlier this week. But first, I have to ask you, Daniel Solana, will you give the Miami Hurricanes a 100% chance of winning against FAMU today? 100. 100?
Well, I don't hear him. Why don't we hear him?
Let's see. You got him up? We got him on?
He's up. He's on.
I don't think I can do this. I do not hear him.
Hold on.
Do I have a problem? We have a problem.
You guys got me or what?
Okay, so we do have Daniel Solana on the line with us. We just don't hear him right now. Let's see if I don't do this, but then it'll be all jacked up. Daniel, you good?
I'm good.
No. For some reason, we can't hear him.
You guys can't hear me?
Okay. So, no expertise yet from Daniel Solana. He will be joining us. He is joining us. We just need to make sure we get him. Let's see. Okay, so his mic is unmuted now, or he has to unmute his mic. Try to unmute the mic. But it was unmuted previously. We're not hearing him. What do we do? What do we have, Vlad? I'm getting a little dizzy.
What about now, guys? You guys got me now?
There
Here we go. We're in, boys. We're in. I said we give the Canes 150% chance to win.
Whoa!
Maybe it was the 150% chance. That's why they muted his mic.
Yeah, the FAMU Rattlers are trying to mute Daniel Solana.
I think that's what it was. I think it was their band trying to get into my feed here or something. I don't know.
So we got Vlad saying 100%. Daniel Solana saying 150%.
Here's the thing, Dan.
Okay, I'm in. I'm 100% in, Vlad. Let's go. I'm in 100% too.
All right, for example, right? This is what pissed me off. So, you're watching games and then you look at the bottom line, the scroll, right? And then it tells you, like, Sister Maria the Blind versus Georgia today at 2:30. And then it gives you Georgia 99% favorite to win. Wait, what? Who's the idiot that's going to pick Sister Maria the Blind? Nobody. Nobody's picking FAMU. Not even FAMU fans are picking FAMU against UM.
That's true.
So why are we saying it's 99%? Just put the full damn hundo. What's wrong? It's okay. And if they're wrong, then 100% of people are wrong. But don't tell me there's 0.1% that's actually picking. No, it doesn't matter. They don't matter. Put the full 100%.
400.
That's just me.
I guess you're betting the house on UM tonight.
It's 45 and a half. It's 45 and a half.
45 and a half. Now, I'm not saying that, but the fact of the matter is just saying who's going to win. If anybody is picking any team against Georgia or FAMU against Florida, against UM right now, they're sick in the head. They're smoking way too much, and they need to stop and take it from a person who smokes a lot. If I'm telling you this, you need to stop, because that's idiotic for you to think that that there's actually a person, or not even that, there's a gambler who's going to just pick FAMU to straight outright win against UM or whoever Georgia's taking on right now.
Tennessee Tech.
Tennessee Tech.
It's probably an FSU fan throwing it out there. Throwing it out there. That 1%'s an FSU fan because he's had 2 rough weekends in a row.
You know what? That might be it. That might be the only fools that would do that.
Now, Daniel Solana, you are our soccer expert. We're going to talk a little bit of soccer. Big, momentous day for you. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You're Uruguayan, as they say, and probably the greatest, as they say, I don't know what that means, but the greatest Uruguayan player of all time made a big announcement this week. Kind of tell us about that and kind of take us through your thought and your feeling process.
Yeah, man, it's been a super, super rough week for me as a soccer fan. Just because, I've grown up watching Luis Suarez my entire life since he started off his career at Nacional, and then grew his way through Europe, and he had his trials and tribulations with the racism and the biting and all that stuff, and just to see how he's come out on the other side of all of that, and to see the amount of fans. I don't know if you guys saw, but there was only 15,000 tickets sold before his retirement announcement, and then they sold out the rest of the stadium that next day. So there was 60,000 plus in there. A lot of ex-former players. His former coach, Oscar Tavares, was there. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ending to a great national team career. But of course, fans of Luis Suarez like me, we're sad, man. It was a rough week for me. So, the good news, I don't know if you guys caught it or not, but his good friend, Leo Messi, sent him a video. They played it on the big screen, which is not that big at the stadium in El Estadio Centenario. And for all of the Inter Miami fans out there, it sounded extremely positive that Messi was saying we're going to have some fun times together for a while longer. So I don't want to, confirm anything, but to me, everything that has been going on over the last week and a half with the Suarez announcement and everything like that seems to me like we're going to have Suarez for another year.
Of course, Suarez did retire from the national team, but he is still a member of Inter Miami. And Inter Miami made a big announcement recently, that they're going to open up the Freedom Park. That's going to be 2026, which has me hoping, fingers crossed, that we keep this core together at least through the 2026 season. I know that's a little bit of wishful thinking, but it could possibly happen.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, on other weekends about possibly Messi staying. I don't know if Suarez has a couple more years, maybe just 1 year left in him, but we've talked about other people who can possibly come over, Neymar, and some other names that over the couple years are probably going to be, retiring from European soccer and looking for maybe a better way of life in the States and, a little bit more soccer. So, look, I have zero doubt that no matter what happens with this core, in 2026, Jorge Mas and co are going to put together something else, because they've shown and they've said from the beginning that their idea is to have Inter Miami be a global soccer brand. And the first couple of years, maybe it wasn't that. But the last couple of years has been a completely different story.
Yeah, they really have, starting off with Rodolfo Pizarro, and that didn't really work out, but they have really made themselves that international brand. And then the other day, we wanted to have you on so bad because Suarez scored 2 goals during the national anthem.
That's what I'm saying. Like, my man wants to end his international career, but in this right here in MLS, this guy's still the best. He's still one of the best players on the pitch.
Absolutely. I mean, Taylor Twellman at the beginning of the year when Inter Miami played against the LA Galaxy, it was the second game they played at LA. Taylor Twellman had mentioned, and this is not a knock on Taylor Twellman, he just mentioned that Suarez looked old and slow, and he felt bad for him because he looked like he just couldn't do it anymore. Well, Taylor Twellman came out and tweeted something a couple days ago that said Luis Suarez could possibly be the MVP of the MLS this season. So, I mean, that goes to show you, for those of us that have followed Suarez in his career, we knew that, he doesn't get started early quick. It takes him a little bit of time. But, boys, he's 1 goal behind the Golden Boot in the MLS chase. He's already got 20 goals this season in all competitions for Inter Miami, which makes him the historic goal scorer for one season for Inter Miami. So dude, he's held up his end of the bargain, folks. That's all. And you can say.
How close is Inter to winning the Supporter Shield?
Yeah, so Inter Miami is on top of the Supporter Shield chase. Look, they've got 7 games left. If they can get 5 wins out of the last 7, which is very, very doable, there's no chance that anybody surpasses them. The only teams that you kind of have to keep a lookout for is going to be Columbus. Why? Columbus has, if I'm not mistaken, 2 games in hand, and we also play them head-to-head later on in October. It's the second to last match before the end of the season. So that could have some ramifications for some of the Supporter Shield, seeding. So look, it's Inter Miami's to lose right now. They've got to win out, or at least get as many points as they can, and it's going to be very tough for anybody to catch them. It'll have to take a colossal meltdown for them to lose a Supporter Shield.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem with Tata Martino and those guys that is possible of happening, but once again, a possibility. Now, everywhere I go, people ask me, I got tickets to next Saturday's game against the Philadelphia Union. Is Messi going to play? Is Messi going to play? I tell them, I don't know, but I can guarantee if Messi does play pretty much for the rest of the regular season, you're not going to most likely, although he seems to be superhuman at times, get him for a full game. It's going to be a ramping up. Is that something that you would expect from Messi and Inter Miami if he does start playing?
I mean, logically, yes, right? Logically, yes. But Messi's the type of player who, if he plays, he likes to play the full 90. That's just how he is. Me, as being a former coach and kind of thinking about it logically, I would probably guess that he plays 20 to 30 minutes on, this upcoming weekend. Get him some game time, get him back in there, maybe in the second half when Philadelphia is a little bit tired and he can have a little bit more open spaces. That's what I would think. But yesterday, one of the Argentinian reporters, Gaston Edul, reported that the idea that Inter Miami has is for Messi to either play Saturday the 14th or the next game after that, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think is against Atlanta United away. So I'm not entirely sure if that's the right game to unleash him in. Of course, Atlanta plays on turf, and you don't want Lionel Messi to play on turf.
I was just about to ask you that.
That's why I said my gut feeling says he plays some minutes on Saturday, and then he possibly might rest on Wednesday when they go away to Atlanta, and then play again against New York City. Yes, sir.
Right. Well,
yes,
you're going to have to play against New York. That's a big market, big game. And
not only that, but if you guys have noticed, the game's at 2 p.m., which usually, the MLS has a thing to put all their games at 7:30 or all at the same time. So the fact that this game is at 2 p.m., it's kind of a highlight game. So that's why I have more of an inkling that Messi's going to play that game.
Are they doing that? Maybe not to go against college football, maybe? Primetime games?
It could be. That could be a way, but I think it's more of a MLS has kind of taken 1 or 2 games a week and put them at a different time. To where I think they should stagger more of their games. We haven't talked about a lot of that on the show, but the fact that you can't watch more than 1 or 2 games a week because they're all at the same time is ridiculous.
Yeah, that is one of those things I don't understand. Like they're Americanizing or United Statesizing as much as they can about soccer. So why not United Statesize that? Because we can watch more games.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's really what you want, right? More eyes on the product. And if all the product is at one time, well, then how do you expect to get all the eyes on the product? So, I think that's something that MLS needs to talk about next year in terms of their scheduling.
The only time you should play all the games at the same time is the last game of the year. So there's no scoreboard watching and everything like that.
You got it, Dan. You got it.
Now, let's get into the Dolphins tomorrow. You got some ideas about that. What do you think? Do you think Tua and those guys go out? Is it a shootout? Is it going to be nip and tuck? Is it going to be just Mike McDaniel on the offense running roughshed over everybody? How you feeling about this game tomorrow, Daniel Solana?
Well, I know and I saw one of the guys in the comments here put 3 Solanas on the air in 24 hours, plus 1 for the Solanas. That it definitely plus 1.
Who was the other Solana?
My father, Eduardo Solana, was the guest picker yesterday on the Hockman and Crowder show, and he picked the Dolphins. So I gotta go with my dad, and I'm gonna say, it's the Dolphins are gonna win. Now, is it gonna be a shootout, boys? We've seen the game on Thursday. We saw the game last night. Both games have been shootouts. I mean, high-scoring games. So I got to think that with the high-powered offense that the Dolphins have, that you're going to see some touchdowns tomorrow.
Yeah, you got to believe Mike McDaniel's had all offseason to scheme.
And I'm going to see Jacksonville score touchdowns too.
Absolutely. I just want to throw it out there. Mike McDaniel, please give, Devon A-Chain some goal line carries because I got him on an anytime TD tomorrow. So, and I got Etienne on an anytime TD tomorrow too. So if we can get, guys, if you can just let them in for one, I got some big money riding on it, so I'd appreciate it.
That's a good parlay right there. Is that single or parlayed?
Parlay, but it's like a 7-leg parlay. I got one player in every single game in the 1:00 game tomorrow, in the 1:00 slot. So that's my parlay.
You better have that red zone going.
Wow.
Now, what's the over-under? What's the over-under on your father cursing on the radio?
I can't say that. I heard he might have said something a little inappropriate yesterday.
We say in Spanish or in English?
In English. It was dumped. Okay. It was dumped. It was good. It was, he's all good, but everything was great, except he threw my brother and I under the bus. Apparently, we're not his favorite. Apparently, it's my sister that's his favorite, and my brother was a mistake, according to my dad. So,
yeah.
Well, you're good. You're good, Dan, because look, of course, daddy's always going to love their girls. You know what I mean? Daddy's little princess.
Of course.
And at least you weren't the mistake,
Absolutely. But I will tell you, man, big props to the mistake, man. Tio Alex has done a fantastic job this weekend. We watched the game together last night with my son. Tio Alex is babysitting Matias right now, so I could do the show with you guys. They're downstairs playing some NCAA together. So I got to give some major props to my brother. He's been a big help on the Tio front, but hey, too bad it was a mistake, right?
Yeah, I've heard your son though has been scoring at almost a
Have you
record
seen
pace,
the videos, bro?
but I've heard that he celebrates a little too much.
He does, man. He does. He loves. He's been watching FIFA. You know, the other funny thing that he does, which I think is better than the celebration. I caught him doing this yesterday. Gets his water bottle, he drinks a little bit, and he gargles it and spits it out. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Dad, you took me to the soccer games, and that's what the players do." I'm like, all right, I can't complain if that's what you see what the players do, you know. And I could tell you yesterday got into a little bit of a scuffle, so he's got that Solana, you know, kind of pride in him, and he you know, he kind of pushed some kid down the other day. It was I like it, man. He's a rough kid.
I love it. Always push the kid down. Always.
Okay.
Gotta push kids down.
He helped him back up. He was a nice kid, but it happens.
Oh, well, I mean, if there's officials, you got to act like you didn't you intend to do it, but you intended to do it. Just, you know, push him down and then act like, oh, no, I'm sorry. That's good. Good. Solana acting. He's learning early. He could be an actor.
Absolutely.
Oh man, we got Inter Miami coming up 1 week from today, right here on 560 WQAM. It is going to be the Philadelphia Union. Daniel Solana, you'll join us next week. Hopefully, you won't be in the Dominican Republic or whatever with weird coverage. I was just so excited because Suarez scored literally 2 goals, not literally, but in the national anthem, he had 2 goals early in that last game.
What was it, like the first and 6th minute?
Yeah,
that was it. And that was it. That was the rest of the game. Like if you came 7 minutes into the game, you miss all the action.
Basically, yeah. So, and we'll see what happens against Philadelphia next week. Now, I will remind you guys, I will be in Uruguay next weekend. I will have full connectivity. So I will be available to be on either Saturday or Sunday. You boys let me know what day, and I will make myself available. But I am going to Uruguay to pay my respects to Juan Izquierdo and his family, who the player that passed away from Nacional. And I will be in Uruguay, you know, just to have a little vacation, boys, you know, and take in a little bit of football.
Earlier this week, did Uruguay win their game? I know they were down a ton of men.
Yeah, so they tied yesterday 0-0 against Paraguay. Of course, a lot of suspensions. One you know, game I'd like to bring up, if you guys don't mind, if we got a couple minutes, is that Bolivia-Venezuela game. Did you guys check that out? Bolivia thrashed Venezuela 4-0, but that's not the news. The news is that they played the stadium. A stadium is called El Alto. It's a new stadium. It's not in La Paz. So if you remember, Bolivia always played in La Paz, which was about 13,000 feet above sea level. This new stadium that they're playing at is 14,500 feet above sea level. Almost impossible. It's almost impossible to walk. I mean, so I don't understand how FIFA and CONMEBOL allows. I mean, I understand they have that advantage, you know, because it's in their country. But at some point, I mean, players are just not going to be able to breathe, and you're going to have issues up there. So, I mean, I don't know, man. They got to really look into some of these things. It's insane. Take a look at that stadium when you guys go on commercial.
What's it called?
El Alto. El Alto.
El Alto. Okay.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Soccer. Whew, no love lost in those games, man. It is any chance you get. Remember the U.S. national team played somebody at a qualifying round in like Minnesota in like negative 10-degree weather. They planned that because they were playing like, I can't remember, was it Panama or
I think it was Honduras. It was Honduras. Yeah. And the players were, one of the players said he had frostbite on his feet.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's absolutely nuts, boys. It's absolutely nuts.
With that being said, you'll do anything for another Uruguay World Cup, right?
And absolutely anything.
Played at the center of the earth.
Damn. And it only holds 22,000 people.
They were about that.
Yeah, you see that, man?
That's nasty work, bro. Oh my God, you can't breathe there.